After losing to the Houston Astros in the 2022 World Series, the Philadelphia Phillies vowed they'd be back. Ahead of the 2023 season, they'd be looking to retool and improve any way they could. So where do we sit now in mid-October 2023? A return to Red October, with the Phils sweeping the Miami Marlins in the wild card round and then eliminating the Atlanta Braves in the NLDS for the second season in a row. The Phillies will now be facing the 6th-seeded, 84-win Arizona Diamondbacks, who the Phillies won the season series against, but are in a similar situation to the Phillies of last year. After the NLDS Game 2 loss, I made my declaration that the Phillies will win the World Series. But how will they do it? Welcome back to the channel. I'm Cole from Philadelphia Media, and that is the exact question we'll be answering today. The Phillies look like an absolute buzzsaw for the second postseason in a row, and amongst the 4 teams remaining, they have the second best odds to win it all, trailing only last year's champion, Houston Astros. We may see a rematch of last year's World Series, which would be the first time that's happened since 1977 and 78. If at any point you enjoy what you're watching, do me a favor and leave a like on the video. Feel free to leave a comment with your thoughts or opinions, and also be sure to subscribe and turn on notifications if you enjoy the video so you'll never miss an upload, but to also let me know I'm doing something right. Now, let's get to the task at hand. There's plenty of reasons I'm certain the Phillies will win the 2023 World Series, all of which will be covered in this video. They vary from offense to defense to managing to mentality and more. The first one is the obvious one, the offense. This team was built on the long ball. The 2023 installment of the Philadelphia Phillies became the first in franchise history to have 6 players with 20 or more home runs in a season, those players being Kyle Schwarber, who swatted 47, Nick Castellanos with 29, Trey Turner, who had 26 in his first year as a Philly, Bryce Harper with 21 in just 126 games, and Alec Bohm and JT Realmuto, who each hit 20 right on the nose. These guys can swing it up and down the lineup, with Schwarber and Turner at 1-2, Harper, Bohm, Realmuto, and Bryson Stott in the middle of the order, and Nick Castellanos, who frequently hits 7th. Let's take a closer look at Castellanos. Thanks to his performances in Game 3 and Game 4, Casti became the first player in MLB history to have back-to-back multi-home run games in the postseason. Nobody's done that before, and this guy hit 7th for the Phillies. In the NLDS, Casti went 7 for 15, a .467 average, with 4 home runs and 4 RBI. Back in the wild card round, he had 2 doubles in Game 1 and made it clear he has one thing on his mind, a ring. He's also the quintessential Philly guy.
In Philly is the best fit. Nick Castellanos, we always needed to play for the Philadelphia Phillies. Am I on to something?
I mean, yeah, I fuck with Philly.
Of course, we all know the straw that stirs the drink for this ball club. Bryce, Aaron, Max, Harper. October rolls around and Bryce is on another level. After a 2022 postseason where he put up these video game numbers, Harper is continuing to show out in the 23 postseason, living up to his moniker, the Showman. Featured on the cover of Sports Illustrated at age 16 and tabbed as baseball's chosen one, Harper has had immense pressure on him his whole life, but he somehow has an uncanny ability to come up big when it matters most. That's because for Bryce, this is all cake.
I dropped out of high school at 16. I got my GED, went into JUCO, and it was like I have to be the number 1 pick. That's the pressure, right? That was the pressure. I have to be the number 1 pick. I have to be the number 1 pick. I have to go in there. If I'm not, I'm a failure. I'm the failure. You know, I have to be able to get my family out, take care of them, and do the things I can to just take care of them forever. And that was the pressure. Now all this is cake. This is what it's all about. This is the fun part of that.
But his trademark aggressive nature got him into trouble in Game 2 when he was trying to score from first on what he thought would be an extra base hit, but instead turned into a game-ending double play. This led to Atlanta shortstop Orlando Arcia mocking him. Bryce took that personal.
Stays put, and there's a high fly ball! Deep right field! Harper watches it fly! Harper, high fly ball, center field. He's watching. Harris turns. Harris leaps, and it's gone! Harper with a rainmaker! And another stare down!
Harper homered twice in Game 3, a 10-2 victory for the Fightins, and he made sure to stare down Arcia on both of those trots. I may have called him the straw who stirs the drink for this team, but the crazy thing is, they aren't entirely reliant on his success. The Braves essentially neutralized him at the plate in Game 4, pitching around him every opportunity they had, but the Phils still won the clincher. You can thank the aforementioned Nick Castellanos for that, as well as Trey Turner and the Phillies pitching staff. Turner struggled mightily for most of the season, but despite his struggles, local radio station producer Jack Fritz orchestrated a standing ovation for Trey back in August to encourage him. From then until the conclusion of the regular season, Turner was one of the best players in the sport, hitting .337 with 16 homers and 42 RBI. He made his mark in Game 4 with a solo shot in the 5th to give his team the lead, his second of the series. The Phillies' offense deserves its praise, but the defense is not to be forgotten about. Bryce Harper, who underwent Tommy John surgery last November, returned just 160 days later, the quickest recovery from Tommy John in MLB history. Harper then learned how to play first base.
You don't know how to play first base. Scott?
That's right.
It's not that hard, Scott. Tell him, Wash.
It's incredibly hard.
Has been doing so since. The move to first opened up the designated hitter spot where Kyle Schwarber was able to slide in, allowing for a left field platoon between Brandon Marsh and Christian Pache. But why isn't Marsh in center? That's because rookie Johan Rojas has made that his home, and despite his struggles at the plate, he rationalized his place in the lineup with a miraculous game-saving catch in Game 4. Did he take a bad route to it? Probably. Has it been exaggerated? Probably. But whether it was his fault or not, it was still a very hard catch to make, with him being off balance, and was as clutch as it gets. But the true unsung hero is the pitching staff for the Phillies. The Braves lineup had been earmarked as one of the greatest in baseball history, and the Phillies held them to just 8 runs in these 4 games. How'd they do it? Some steady starting pitching out of Ranger Suarez, Aaron Nola, and Zach Wheeler, and some tremendous performances from the boys out in the pen. That being said, there's more to it than the pitchers just going out there and pitching well. Somebody has to make the decision on when to utilize them. Enter Rob Thompson. As a nearly 40-year baseball vet, Topper's seen his fair share of situations, and that has allowed him to bring this team to a second straight postseason on the fast track to another World Series appearance. He has an innate ability to push all the right buttons, unlike anyone I've ever seen before. Game 4 was just a managing masterclass out of Rob Thompson. After getting 5 strong innings out of Ranger Suarez, Thompson burned his first arm, Sir Anthony Dominguez, a Dominican-born flamethrower who pitched in just 1 game during the years 2019 and 2020 and has since made a comeback and become a vital part to these Phillies' success. The Phillies' 2 most reliable arms all season were Jose Alvarado and Craig Kimbrell. When Topper sensed trouble in the 6th and 7th inning, he didn't hesitate to bring in both of them in succession. If you watched the game, you know the announcers made it abundantly clear that the Phillies had used their best arms early. But what they didn't know is that the Phillies' bullpen seemingly has an unlimited supply of studs. Former All-Star Gregory Soto came in for a third of an inning, and when it was time to shut the door on this Braves team, with runners on the corners, no outs, Matt Strahm, of all people, was the one Robbie Thompson called upon. Strahm retired the Braves 1, 2, 3. Other important members of the bullpen include Jeff Hoffman, who was one of the best relievers in baseball this season, Michael Lorenzen, who threw a no-hitter earlier this season, and their secret weapon, Orion Kerkering. Kerkering started the year in Single-A, but the Phils kept a close eye on him all year, knowing his nasty sweeper and triple-digit fastball would be a difference-maker for them in the postseason. But not only is Kerkering a devastating relief pitcher, what we saw him do after Game 4 is a testament to this team's chemistry and a key to why they've had success and will continue to. He was seen sporting an Attaboy Harper t-shirt during the postgame celebration that read, "He wasn't supposed to hear it" on the back, mocking Orlando Arcia. This embodies the Philadelphia Phillies. Wearing a shirt like that, firing back at Arcia, that demonstrates the no one likes us, we don't care mentality of Philadelphia, with the confidence and, some may say, cockiness of this team, along with the close-knit, I'm sticking up for my teammate type of feel. People don't like how the Phillies may excessively celebrate, but that's just because they're like a family. Imagine not only playing baseball, but playing winning baseball with the people you love most. You're going to celebrate like crazy, and that's what these Phillies do. Everybody doubts them, and they almost always overcome the hate. That's what makes this upcoming National League Championship Series unique. The Phillies aren't the underdog as they were all postseason long a year ago. The Diamondbacks are actually in the position of the 2022 Phillies, being the 6th seed who has now upset 2 teams in a row en route to the NLCS. But that same blue-collar mentality Bryce Harper often speaks about will certainly prevail for this Phillies team. This team is a family. But the family doesn't stop at the 26-man roster. It extends out to the 45,000 screaming, insane fans that attend every postseason game. I'm not sure other fan bases have as hard a time getting tickets as Phillies fans do, but it costs a pretty penny to get them, and the tickets are not plentiful. When you see other teams selling their tickets for $20-some, it almost makes you wish you were a fan of a team whose fan base isn't as passionate. But then when you're actually lucky enough to get to a postseason game, you're all the more fortunate that you're a member of such an intense fan base. The Philadelphia Phillies are locked in, and they have one thing in mind: a ring. Thanks for watching. If you made it this far, I'd appreciate it if you left a like on the video and hit the subscribe button. See you next time.